What is up? The Sick Man, week 17. We are back and we're here with all the GMs. We've got the one and only Albanian analyst repping everything blue until. We've got House Lasky. We've got the owner of both super teams, a true trailblazer. We've got House of 03.
Yeah, we do, baby.
Yes, we do. We've got Andrew Wiggins, and Ludort's #1 fan. It's all aboard the Parantics Express.
I'm out for that. I'm out.
He's keeping all doors closed since '97. A kiss from a rose, Lancashire Lambert, and finally seasoned with wild views, opinions, and odd rages. We've got Saltbury capping off the team. We are all here. Week 17. We're still surviving. We're in the home stretch of the regular season. We are going to be breaking down two divisions as always. Let's start out in the Central Division, and we're going to head to the home place of Reggie Miller. It's the Indiana Pacers. They've gone 3-1 this week. They are 25-27 overall, right within the playoff mix. Let's head to those seasoned views right now with Saltbury.
Yeah, it's back to Indiana. It's been a rocky road, but they're doing well. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They're on a 3-game winning streak. However, it's been a pretty easy schedule. And just before that 3-game win streak, they lost to the Wizards and the Heat and the Hornets, which are all teams they are racing against for this playoff seeding. So really not very happy with that. But as we've said, with all of these teams in the East that are in the mix, it's these inconsistent little streaks, few wins, few losses, and they all shuffle around and swap places with each other. So not too many surprises there. It seems to continue. There is a little bit more separation now. So the Pacers kind of sit at the bottom of the mix. I believe they're in the 9 seed. They are 3 games out of the 4th seed, also 3 games out of the 10th, which is where the Bulls are at the moment. So really, the next stretch for them is going to be decisive as to whether they're in the mix for one of those guaranteed playoff spots, whether they have to play in to get in. And obviously, you want to be in either the 7th or the 8th, because it means you only need to win 1 game out of 2 in order to get into the playoffs. Those bottom 2 seeds, you need to win 2 games. So that's going to be really important coming towards the end of the season.
Yeah, really, really good week for the boys in Indy. They, like you said, they lose to the Bulls. They pick up a win against the Timberwolves, a lot of points there. A win against the Magic, and then the win against the Grizzlies, where Brogdon has a near triple-double, Sabonis has a near triple-double, and Levert drops 34 points, which is really encouraging. I think that it's a good stretch for them. They're under 500, so we're going to see how they progress, which seed they end up. We're going to shift focus when we're talking about Indiana Pacers, and I'm going to talk about the WNBA team's jersey drop, which was fire. Straight fire. Also shout out to them, because NBA dropped these earned jerseys, which come out every year, and it's just, I don't want to see it, man. It's just boring, and they're just trying to find a way to make money, but this drop was good. I am putting it in the chat. The Indiana Fever, which is the WNBA affiliate, got a jersey to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the league. The jersey is based on Stranger Things. If anybody watches it,
like Stranger Things,
yeah.
It's fire. I've put it in the group chat for everybody watching at home. Yeah. This is what the jersey looks like.
It's so nice.
Fire.
Oh my goodness.
Question I want to ask you, Bray. Give me your favourite jersey of all time, man.
My favourite jersey? Oh, it's got to be that 90s Bulls pinstripe, the black one with the red pinstripes. Oh, it's so fire. I've got the Pippin, because the Jordan's like £300.
That's not the best pinstripe in my opinion, bro. I think the Magic pinstripe is fire. The
Magic one is very nice. I do agree, but personally, like, I've got to be a homer for the Bulls there. Other ones that spring to mind, I do really like the retro Timberwolves jerseys, the ones that KG wore when they were good. And I really like the black Heat ones that they wore for Wade's last season. That is I think that was probably the
original
time,
Vice. The original Vice, yeah.
The first time they went full Miami Vice with it, which ushered in for the last few years until it was like a 2-3 year stretch where the Heat had down and out the best jerseys in the league, and then this year they've ruined it with the cotton candies. But
Yeah.
I mean,
any more for any more?
yes, I do have some more. So for the Pacers, I do want to just flip back because I talked 3 weeks ago about Karis LeVert came in. He's been balling. You mentioned he had 34 points. He has been getting buckets, but it's only been 3 weeks. He's still fitting in. It's very kind of my turn, your turn. He gets points, doesn't really do much else. It's good to see that Brogdon and Sabonis have a nice little two-man game going. LeVert is yet to get in on that kind of action, and I think it will just take time for them. Not great. A key to their success, though, in the last month has been your boy, Alex, TJ McConnell. He has been great. Big shout out to him. So he's in the last month, he's been averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal on 60% shooting. He's just kind of been everywhere for them. Works really, really well. And honestly, if he keeps up this pace for the rest of the season and they end with a playoff spot, he could be in the 6th man of the year conversation, I think, because he's been really, really good for them, in my opinion.
Put some respect on my boy's name. He is a killer. He's also one of the best players in the league to steal the ball off an inbounds when the player is not looking. And I personally love to do that. So that resonates with me. Bray, concise, factual, love it. Can't wait to talk about the Pacers with you again. Right, let's move to your homer pick, which is the Chicago Bulls, a team that Jordan and I, House of 03, are very excited about. 2-2 this week, 22-30 overall. I stayed up with Bray to actually watch the Hawks games, Hawks loss, which we will be speaking about. But George, what's happening in Chi-Town?
Chi-Town, man, it's getting tight towards the end, man. Like I'm biting my nails. Like I'm watching Chicago and I'm biting my nails. So recently, when last we spoke, they went on a painful run. They went on a 6 straight loss run, which was painful. It was extremely painful, and as the players and the coaches have pointed out and keep on bringing it up, it always seems to come back down to their defense and their communication on defense. It doesn't seem, even though they have their key players which are doing bits on defense, like Patrick Williams and Thaddeus Young is up there as well. It's just when they're stretched too far or they're trying to handle more than one thing, that support and that backup isn't there, and then it crumbles. So that's been a big issue which they're looking to sort out going forward, and they're looking to develop as well. As you mentioned, 2-2 this week, and in the last 10, 3-7. So it's testy because it seems like they're just going up and down, and not really finding that consistency, really.
Look at their week. They beat the Pacers, good win. They beat the Raptors, good win. They play the Hawks. We're going to speak about it in a minute. They lose to the Hawks. Then they lose to the Timberwolves. Just a note on that Timberwolves game. Karl Anthony Towns hit a 3 to close the game. And it was a fitting tribute because the Wolves has actually left out a seat for Kat's mum. It's a really nice moment. You know, I know we're not speaking about Timberwolves, but I just wanted to bring that up. But the main piece that we're going to talk about with the Bulls is that Bray and I, along with Ultra, we stayed up to watch the Bulls Hawks because we were like, oh, Zach LaVine's got 39.5.
Yep.
Jordan, I want to take the ball out of your hands. So I just want to put it in the hands of Bray and Wildy to speak about this. Being these are your two teams. What did you see? Bray, first of all, talk to me about the Bulls.
Yeah, so on the Bulls, and George, you alluded to this. It's the defense. It's so inconsistent, and they have some good defenders, but their team defense is absolutely terrible. Like 6 to 8 times in this game, they let Vucevic get switched onto a guard or like a small forward. That can never happen because he can't stay in front of anyone. Like literally, it doesn't matter. You give up an open jump shot before you let him get switched, because the stuff that Trae Young was doing to him was absolutely disgusting. Honestly, it was dirty. You even saw in the Timberwolves game when Vooch closed out on Cat, and Cat basically just faked really easy jab step to fake him out. Vucevic fell over on the 3-point line, and Cat ran in and dunked it. It was like he honestly cannot be anywhere outside the key.
Gosh, you're killing him.
I'm sorry. He's a terrible defender, but it's not all his fault though. It's not all his fault.
There you go.
Because he should never be asked to go outside the key, and that's bad team defense from the Bulls. The other players have got to recognise that, and cross coverage. The third guy's got to come in to switch across, and then he's just got to rotate back to the paint, because his big body at least, so he does some good in there. But when he's not in the paint, it is ugly.
It's just modern switching defenses. Everyone wants to switch. Positionless basketball.
Can't switch. But then if you look at some of the other guys, you look at Patrick Williams. Yeah, sure. Like he switch him onto anyone, onto a big guy, onto a small guy. Same with Thaddeus Young. He's been playing center. When they've got Tice out there, you switch Tice onto whoever you want. When you've got Troy Brown out there, you switch him onto whoever you want. And they've got these like offense defense lineups, and they haven't been able to figure out what the kind of what works yet. But honestly, they've got a lot of new players, and I'm critical of the defense. They should improve it over time. Unfortunately, they don't have it at the moment, but hey.
It sounds like Bulls could do with Wendell Carter Jr. But sorry, carry on, Alex.
Time is very against the Bulls. I'm getting a bit nervous, but George. So Bray's going to talk about this later in Shoot Your Shot, but the ESPN list of the top 25 under 25 dropped last week. Considering Patrick Williams, and I didn't even know this, is the second youngest player in the NBA at 19 years old. He's averaging 10 points per game and 5 rebounds. Was he snubbed?
In my mind, yeah. I have to say he was, and I think my main reason for this, like, you see what he brings to the team on the court. Like Bray mentioned before, you switch him onto anyone, they're gonna have a tough night. Even Bron has credited him. Even Kawhi Leonard has gone out and credited him. And I think it's mainly, I don't even know what they were thinking about, but I think they were looking mainly at the stat numbers. Maybe that's all I could think it was, because when you look at his stats throughout the regular season, they're not really amazing jump out numbers. But when you actually see him play the game and what he's doing on the court, and the pieces which are there and how far he can develop and the mindset he has, I think, yeah, definitely was.
Very interesting. A couple of other things to close out on the Bulls is that Thad is still in the starting lineup, but he's struggling to put up numbers as efficient as what he was. And also Markkanen is coming off the bench for them as well. That's an interesting dynamic for them. I just hope they get better on the defensive end, man. It's rough.
Yeah.
Right. Let's head to Cleveland. This is for you. Lancashire Lambert. We are, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2-2 this week. It's not dull. It's actually all right. 19-34 overall. Let's talk about Ohio in Cleveland. Let's go.
Cleveland, yeah. So 2-2 this week, although they've only won 3 out of their last 10 games. So it follows probably the rest of the teams in the East down there who just can't really buy a win at the moment. So yeah, 2-2 this week. Started off with a win against the Spurs. Nice win there, 125-101. Darius Garland got his career high, 37 points. Also managed to get himself 8 assists in that game. And Colin Sexton chipped in nicely with 22 also. And the main reason for that win basically came from the Cavs shooting. They were at 52% from the field and 35% from behind the three-point arc, whereas the Spurs 42% from the field, and they were only 19% from three-point. So very poor there from the Spurs. So Cavs did well there on defense, and considering they're actually historically throughout the season probably one of the worst teams from their opponent, scoring the most from three-point percentage. So nice to see them restricting the Spurs there. And then another win against OKC, 129-102. They actually only led by 4 at the half, so really good second half performance there, just to really, batter OKC there. So Sexton 27 points, and then Kevin Love, who's obviously made a resurgence into the team of late. He's played the last 6 games. He managed to get 18 points and grab himself 11 rebounds. And then Cavs doing what they do in the Lancashire Lambeer house, giving out wins to the Raptors. It's what we love to do.
It's a common theme, isn't it, man? It's a common theme.
We'd love to help our own, really
gentleman's agreement.
Exactly, giving the Raptors confidence. Raptors scored 47 points in the first quarter and led 87-54 at the half. So nice little boost of confidence to the Raptors.
You're telling me they scored 87 points in the first half?
Yeah. Gary Trent Jr. got 44 points and only missed 2 shots, which was ridiculous. And
George, how are you feeling about that, George?
I don't want to talk about
it. So that was a nice blowout loss there. And then they lost a bit of a narrower game to the Pelicans, 116-109. They actually led by 10 after the first quarter, and it should have been 9 at the half had Jackson Hayes not decided to make a half-court shot, buzzer beater, right at the end of the second quarter, and then Zion just went mad in that third and fourth quarters. So a loss to the Pelicans there. So it leaves them with work to do, but yeah, that's the Cavs.
We stay in Cleveland for my stat line of the week. Isaiah Hartenstein, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 4 blocks in 25 minutes. There's nothing more I like than good production off the bench in limited minutes. Love that. Matt, I want to talk to you about something. Colin Sexton liked a tweet which said that Kevin Love stole 120 million from the Cavs. It was the heist of the century. But I want to ask you about Colin Sexton getting paid. He's got 1 year left on his rookie contract. He's having a really good season. Do you think he's viable to get the max? Would you give him the max if you were a GM?
I think he's a key piece, although I think it's that backcourt duo of Sexton and Garland, really, that is what really helps the Cavs. Is one more valuable than the other? I'd say Sexton is a very promising player, but I'd say Garland is actually just as equally important to this Cavs side. Sexton's obviously got youth on his side. Maybe it's a bit too early for that max contract in his career. I think he's only about 22 at the moment. So yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, but I'd say with the Cavs in general, they do have quite a promising young core. They've got like Jarrett Allen as well. So it's what they do with Sexton, really. Ideally they keep him, but yeah, I think there's foundations to be built upon, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, right, with the Cavs, and I've crunched the numbers for this season, right. This is my wild prediction.
Oh yes, I love this. Here we go.
Right, I've crunched the numbers. I reckon that, so they're on 19 wins at the moment. I reckon that 30 wins could sneak them into that 10th place, just above Chicago, right? So they would need to win 11 out of their remaining 19 games. Now listen to this. 8 of their next 10 are against teams who are less than 500. Now the Cavs all year have been winning the games they should have been and losing the games they shouldn't. Even though they've lost 7 of the last 10, it's been against the likes of the Heat, the Sixers, etc. Right? So 8 of their next 10 are very winnable games against teams less than 500, and then their last 9 matches are all against big hitters such as the Suns, Nets, Heat, who I think, as Braze alluded to plenty of times, could they be resting players come the end of the season? So could the Cavs get 11 wins?
But you've got to go out on a whim here. So you've got to make a claim. Either you're not, are you going to go for it, or are you going to leave it?
I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, Good decision. We like it. So Chicago will be out.
Put it on a post-it note, Ernie. Put it on a post-it note.
I'm writing it down right now.
Make a prediction score. That's what we need.
That's what we need. Yeah. Maybe we come with it next week, or maybe in the final month. I love it. Love it. Right. Let's move from the awful to the horrible. But I was looking at this team and I was thinking, oh my Lord, we might actually go above 500 for the first time all season. It hasn't happened. No. The Detroit Pistons have gone 2-3 this week. They're at 16-38. What a miserable old time it is in the Motor City.
Oh yeah.
Wildy, camera's not on for good reason here.
Yeah.
Disgrace, isn't it? Talk to me.
Disgrace. I mean, they are.
Shame.
They've doubled down on having a bad season to help get themselves a better draft pick, I think. So, their record is abysmal. Obviously, it's kind of been that way all season, but shameful. Hey, it's probably their plan, so they're probably quite happy about it. Not the players, the organisation. They got a win against the Thunder, which Thunder's basically throwing out a G League team at the moment because they're running their young guys and sitting all their vets. So a win against the Thunder, it doesn't help my percentage because Thunder are also on my roster, and it doesn't do much to say that Detroit are doing amazing. So. But just on some positive stuff, Sadiq Bey's continued to play well. He now leads all rookies with 3-pointers made at 120. I've also seen him getting down in the paint and banging a bit too, which is really good. I said at the beginning of the season that I thought Sadiq Bey was a better pickup than Killian Hayes, which at this point is a little bit hard to judge because Killian Hayes has been out. He's now back on the day-to-day list with possible play, but he's still not had any stretch of time to show us what he can do, even though when he was playing it wasn't too spectacular. Jeremy Grant is now out as well at the conclusion of this week with right knee soreness, so they're going to have a lot more of their young guys running, so they're going to look even more like OKC of the East at running younger guys. So I can't see them.
How convenient.
What's that? What did you say?
How convenient that he's out with right knee soreness with about a month to go. Yeah.
Load management. They haven't even put him as day-to-day. It's just straight out. He's just out.
They should just put tanking. They should just put out tanking.
Out due to tanking. In the games that Jeremy Grant did play, he played against OKC and Denver, his previous teams. So he liked to shout a little bit. He got 20 in the first half against Denver and then only checked in 9 for the rest of the game. And they obviously ended up losing to a superior team. Corey Joseph, though, when they played the Kings, they've just picked up Corey. He's played 11 games with them now, and he's averaging 11 points for them, which is the highest he's averaged for any team. It's only 11 games, granted, but I've liked Corey Joseph in the past. He's had some moments when he was with the Raptors. He had a few moments in the playoffs, so he carries himself in quite a nice way. So a bit more sort of veteran presence there to help the team mature, but without taking too much away from the young guys, and their development. But he got 24 on 10 of 14 shooting against the Kings, and that was in a win as well. So you like to see it.
Wildy.
Yeah.
The point I wanted to make about the Pistons is actually not related to the Pistons. It's something that happened to the Pistons.
Oh, that's fine. That's going to help with the point I'm going to make as soon as you finish yours. You go.
Okay. So the Pistons played the Blazers, and Enes Kanter set the Blazers record with 30 rebounds over the Pistons. Well done, but also screw you, Enes, because my big man is Nurk. So you need to teach Nurk how to do rebounds. And also, just before Ed brings this up, Ed's overtaken me in fantasy. That's all right. He's, if he makes the playoffs, he's going to get knocked out first round. I'm out. Anyway.
Don't talk about the playoffs. You're not going to be in them. Don't talk about the playoffs.
Bro, you ain't going to be in there.
You're not making a playoff.
I'm rattled. Anyway, speaking of records, Wildy, what is more achievable? Wilt's 100-point record or Wilt's 55 rebound record?
I'm going to say, well, with the advancement of the three-point shot and the way guys are scoring these days, honestly, I think it's going to be more likely they're going to reach 100 points before they get 55 effing rebounds. That's mental.
You saying Andrew Wiggins?
No, that was points. It's like, yeah, he might get 100. As I've had one too many bold Andrew Wiggins predictions this year, unintentional or intentional. Just a quick point on the 30 rebound game. The last person to do this was in 2018. I talked about him last week. He's on Philly.
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard, baby. Yeah. Woo-hoo! He played for Washington when he did it. And it just cracked me up that I just wanted to say Dwight Howard's name again for Bray's sake.
I've seen the same graphic and this list, and I was shocked that it was Dwight. And it was in like 2018 or something. I was like, no way. He was washed.
Hall of Famer.
That's when he had the back problems in Washington as well, and he got 30 rebounds. It just cracked me up because I wasn't expecting it either. Not when it was 2018. And the point I was going to make about Detroit and how you're saying your question was about another team that they played. This week can be defined by the Pistons week can be defined by plays made by the other team, because you've got the Cantor record. You've got the Harkless dunk. You've got you've also got the Clippers Paul George dunk. It's Detroit's week has just been a flurry of other teams, high points and flashy plays. It's just been tough. Poor Pistons, man. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Okay. Sorry, Detroit. But yeah, Corey Jones is playing well for you. So, you got that going for you, and the tanking is well and truly on. Right. So normally what I've started to do is we list teams in best to worst record, and this team that we're closing out the division, I did not expect to be finishing with. Ed's got this sideways look, like he's a bit confused what's going on. I'm a bit confused.
I know what's going on.
Oh yeah, maybe the reverse tanking. The Milwaukee Bucks, 1-3 this week, 33-20 overall. Let's head to House Askew.
Yeah, I mean, that's breaking news. Giannis was injured, so that's why the Bucks were 1-3. Last time we spoke about the Bucks, they were 27-14. So now, as Alex mentioned, 32-20, which is a 6-6 record overall past 12 games, which is not where the Bucks want to be, because obviously they were challenging for that number 1 seed alongside Brooklyn and Philly. Now they are a couple games behind them. Obviously, they've furthered away from that pack, which means that they probably will have to end up playing one of them. They probably will end up playing one of them in the semis, and then other one in the finals. So that's going to be the tricky bit. That's the thing that they wanted to avoid. But yeah, is what it is. So during that 6-6 run, some of the big wins they had was one of them was against Philly, which we spoke about when we spoke about Philly previously. They were down by 19 points at half. And funny enough, actually, before the All-Star break, Bucks were 0-13 when they were down at half by double digits. And since then, after the All-Star break, they've managed to win a couple games by overcome a double-digit deficit at the half. Again, one of them being Philly when Giannis did a Juju Smith and sat on the logo. So yeah, did that. I actually like that reference.
We lost that game. They didn't win that game. We lost that game. But yeah.
What?
Yo, I'm out, man. Sorry.
Another thing I wanted to mention is about, I spoke about this last time we spoke of the Bucks, because last time it was just after the PJ Tucker trade, and how I mentioned that the Bucks have literally got 0 backup point guards, and Dante DiVincenzo is the backup point guard. They managed to get Jeff Teague in as the backup, which is really nice for them. Obviously, he's reunited with Coach Bud. We all remember his all-star year in 2014, 15 season? First year of uni, I remember that was.
I thought it was 13.
Was it not? I think it was 14, 15 because it was first year of uni. From what
that's supposed to be the best year of your life. You're supposed to remember this stuff. Come on, man.
I'll take this. I think I take this team over that one. We got more chance to do. We could go further in the playoffs than that last team, but hindsight is 2020.
Interesting. So as I mentioned, Giannis has been injured. He's got, I think it was back soreness, past couple of weeks, which is why Bucks have been a little bit disappointing, and a little bit disappointing from my side as well, because I've been advocating for Middleton to be getting more shots and more opportunities in the offense, which hasn't gone as well. Against Dallas, he was 6 of 27 from the field with no free throws, which is not what you want. But I mean, hopefully now he gets a bit more reps with this team, and because we all remember in the playoffs in the bubble when Giannis did go out, Middleton did really well being the lead man and having the offense run around him. The offense was a little bit different and it did quite well, but it's disappointing that hasn't translated as of yet. But I'm still hopefully optimistic for the rest of the year to get some extra wins. Last thing I'll mention is against Charlotte. Actually, Giannis was out, but they also decided to rest their other 4 starters as well, so none of their starting unit played. They did get beat, but I just thought that was interesting. I hadn't seen that before, where they knowingly rested 4 of their remaining starters, which quite weird, I thought.
They've been resting a lot of guys, but I'm going to throw this nickname out and you guys can tell me if it's trash. Mr. Petrol, BP, been putting it in. Okay. Bobby Portis, BP, Mr. Petrol.
Not keen.
No.
You're not keen?
No,
All right,
It also doesn't work
try.
because they call it gas as well, which is stupid in its own right. But yeah,
I don't want to call it gas though.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fucking gas.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not gas at all.
Wait, so they call they call him Mr. Gas?
No, they call it gas petrol. They call petrol gas.
So that's why I called him Mr. Petrol.
I was just checking because that's even worse than Mr. Petrol.
And also, you only know what BP is if you're from the UK.
Yeah.
No one in any other country is going to know what BP is.
Right, well, I'll keep brainstorming. Anyway, yeah, Warriors game 13-13, Mavs 20-14, Hornets 10-13, and then the Magic he had 16-10.
Yes, I did see that.
Big boy numbers. I love to see it. But he talks about them resting players. One of their key stars actually got an extension. That was Drew Holiday. He's got 4 years, 135 million extension. Ed, you're making it rain in the club. Do you like this move?
They had to make it just because of the amount of assets they gave up. If they didn't pay him and he did leave and he wasn't on the Bucks any longer, that would have felt like they wasted all those assets on something that never happened. And Drew Holiday is your favorite player's favorite player. You see on all the smoke, they all talk about how who's the hardest person you've got, Drew Holiday. And I mean, from a fan perspective, he's just a really likable character. And from all the people who play the game, all the pros out there, they're like, he's the hardest. He's just such a pesky defender. He's really, he gets buckets as well. I think he got about 30 points against the Magic when we played them. Last night they got 130 points against us. But anyway, so yeah, they had to do it, and it works well with their lineup. I would like to see the backcourt of Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton flourish together, and hopefully that could be a potentially like one of the top 3 backcourts in the NBA. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Maybe best backcourt in the East. Oh, I'm pushing it. I can't think of anyone. Who's the best backcourt in the East?
Kyrie and Harden.
Oh yeah, fuck, I forgot about them.
Yeah, they got no chance.
Yeah,
but I love Drew. I'm a big fan of Drew. Yeah, happy you got paid. All right, wraps up Central. Take a short break and then we're going to head to the Southwest.